And Annette, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and Happy New Year's to you, and thank you for joining us here on the first show of 2014.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, considering that you do music, what type of music do you describe yourself as? What type of music, I should say, are you mostly known for? Are you more of a pop singer? Are you more of an R&B singer, soul singer, or like what's the best way to describe your music?
That's such a great question because my heart is with the country and the pop side, but more so the country. I can I can kind of round up and play around with everything, but my heart is country. So, which is very surprising considering I'm not from the South. But that's my love is country and pop. More of the alternative side of that.
I will say this, Annette. I mean, music connects people in so many ways. You don't necessarily have to be from a certain area. I mean, if country is your type of music, girl, go with it. Go on with your bad self.
Well, what's my next step? Um, it's funny you ask that because that is actually what I'm looking for right now. What is my next step? I am in the process of reinventing myself, and so everything is my next step. I mean, I am just looking for all avenues of life to get me into something that I'm passionate about in the music or acting field, just because I love both.
That's awesome. That's great to hear that you're thinking ahead. You're thinking of what your next step's gonna be. It may be music. It may be something more. But I mean, kudos to you on that. And as far as music is concerned, who do you consider as influences in your musical career? Who do you consider as your influences?
There are so many. Right now, I have a true passion actually for Kelly Clarkson and also for Katy Perry, just because their talent in their writing skills of how it can be so influential to people's lives. And honestly, I've gone through so many traumatic things in my own life that I can relate to them on such a an intimate level, just because they're so powerful with they're so artistic with their words, and I love it.
I definitely have a lot of respect for both artists. Kelly, she was the first American Idol winner, and since then, she's had success. She's had some hits, and
Yes,
she stay out of trouble. She's getting headlines for the good white reasons per se. I mean, Kelly Clarkson. I mean, quietly, she's having a good career. I mean, she may not
yes,
be, you know, mega star or whatnot, but she just quietly comfortable with what she's doing, and it's worked for her. She's got a lot of awards, a lot of accolades to show for it. And as for Katy Perry, she's definitely a superstar if she's not
she is.
already. So I
She is.
mean,
But I mean, I am a believer that quality versus quantity is so important. And Kelly, she's the real deal. She really is. She's all heart and soul, and she's got um so much passion behind it. But she is who she is, and I love that she doesn't try to be someone else. So that is something I most definitely can relate to, and I admire.
that's definitely very important is to have your own style, to have your own originality. It seems like nowadays artists looks for the trend that's going on and they just want to follow that trend instead of making a trend of themselves. And I think that's been going on in music for way too long. Um, do you think, as an aspiring musical artist, do you think that there's people are gonna is there going to be more trends, or do you think that people are going to be too caught up following the same trend and what's going on?
I think anything, we are all original in our own, and unique in our own right. And I think that says mountains about us as a new generation passes this this coming year. It's just going to hit another another trend after another trend, but most definitely there are unique artists, and they are keeping it alive for all of us who really want to just be themselves and prove that you don't have to be something that you're not to be in the public eye, and to get more risky with things every year. So
I definitely can understand where you're coming from there. Um, but here's what I think about this as we continue this conversation. Do you think the reason that people just get too caught up of following the same trend, is it like pressure from the record labels, or do you think it's the artists themselves, or is it just is it both ways?
I, to be honest with you, I think it's both ways, because who I was 10 years ago is not who I am now. I mean, I take who I was back then, and I go, wow, you know what? I am really finally coming into my own, and the things I would have done as an artist back then are totally different than what I would be doing now. So I think artists have, they have that. That's the beauty of it, is that they have the right to change their mind about something and go, you know what, this is who I was, but I'm no longer that person anymore, and so this is who I'm going to be, and I'm going to tell the world this is who I'm going to be. So I think that most definitely comes into play, but I think, of course, the labels have something to do with that and being pushy, and I think there are some artists who are just like, no, I'm going to be who I want to be and who I want to represent. And then there are some who do cave.
Absolutely, and I think that's the reason why that you see a lot of artists becoming independent artists rather than major label artists, because they have more freedom of putting the music out the way that they want to do it instead of having control from the machine known as the
Absolutely.
so
Exactly.
and I'm gonna give you two artists as example. Two of these artists are nominated for a Grammy this year for album of the year. Macklemore and Kendrick Lamar. They come from independent labels. They have the right to do whatever they want, put out the music the way that they want to, and not have to answer to the labels. And
Right.
it just shows that, whoever these indie labels may be, they have a heck of a lot of faith in their artists than the major label artists, because they are nominated for the biggest prize in all of music. That's album of the year. I mean, you can't get any high ceiling than
I got
that.
higher than that.
You can't get any higher than that. Regardless if they win or lose, I mean, that just shows that major labels better be scared in 2014. If they ain't scared a few years back, they should be scared now that
Now.
indie
Yes,
artists are stepping up. It's all about
exactly.
having more faith in your artists. Let them put the music out the way they want to. Maybe they'll see their artist nominated for album of the year.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Completely agree. There's something to be said about freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and the artists that are able to do that and have the freedom to do that tend to get more respect from so many people, and they are the ones that you end up having this true passion or that can be such an influence to so many others. And it's inspiring, of course.
I will say this: it is going to be interesting to see who's going to be the next big artist coming out, who's going to have the next song, who's going to have the next trend. I mean, every year we got something at least somewhat different, but I feel like
Yes.
2014 is something special is really going to happen. I'm curious to see how that unfolds. Now, for people that wants to hear your music or just get to know you more, do you have any like social media links like Facebook, Twitter, or places that people can listen and buy your music?
You know what? That's all my next step, my next push. I'm having people left and right push me to people who I don't even know who are catching me on LinkedIn who are telling me to go try out for The Voice, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But they're finding me through Sing Snap, Sing Snap or Snap Sing, and um and they're just finding my all they are is practices. I just sit there and I sing to practice during my downtime, but that's that's my next place, my next role to get into my music 100% again. I've got two songs that are out on iHeartRadio basically, and one is called Days Go By, and it's definitely a country genre song, but it was recorded like 8 years ago, and so it's something that I would love to just update and get back out there.
That's fair. That's fair. That's that's part of the progress. For the
It
time
is.
for the time being, you can book Annette through bookings, performances, appearances, etc. through worldentertainmentagency.com. Contact Troy and Craig. They'll hook you up. Just give them the info, and then they go on from there. Very cool people. I've interviewed clients through them for several years. All they are a well respected agency. And let me just say, Annette, you're in good hands with those two gentlemen. So I just putting that out there. Shout out to Troy. Shout out to Craig. Always giving me the guests and everything. Awesome folks. Um, so Annette, last question. What would your advice be to anyone that wants to become a recording artist? What would your advice be?
My first step and advice to give to anybody is to to know yourself, to own yourself, to really believe in you, and that way things aren't so scary. So you can push outside the box. And I was never meant to be trapped in a box. And so once you find that love for yourself, you're able to most definitely go to that next level. And so that would obviously be my recommendation, is just find that love for yourself and that belief in yourself.
Well said, Annette. Well said. Now I will definitely contact your agency if I can get your music play on this show, and I can also get in touch with the boss of this radio station, and he'll be more than happy to play your music on their station. It's a 24/7 station. It's got talk shows. It's got music playing 24/7, etc. So I'll definitely will get in touch with your agency to get some music, and then I'll send some music to the TMV Cafe, and then we'll be happy to have your songs played on the station.
Awesome. So great.
Well, Annette, it was great chatting with you. Thank you for being the first guest of 2014. Thank you for your time. You definitely have a bright future, and best of success in your steps and your success going forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It was such a privilege to be. So have a great 2014 yourself, huh?
You too.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. That was our first guest of 2014, Annette Shaw, joining us here on Chillin' with Jeff and Kenny C.